Hi, welcome back to Human Frequency. I'm Rebecca,
I'm Philip.
and we are back with another episode.
Another
I don't remember
intriguing
what episode. This is 9, I think.
This is episode 10, I think.
Is it? Oh,
Yes.
wow.
We're doing religion this time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about religion. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what we've been up to.
Yeah.
So Philip's back flying again. He had a, 6 to 7
months off.
Yeah.
Picked up the plane in November. Did one flight. Actually did 3 flights already, and it felt really good to be in the air again. Last night we went to a great Christmas party at Becca's parents' house. It was fun. We were among the youngest there, so that should give you some ideas to the age group that was there. But it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Good people, good food, good music. I had to be convinced to dance with Rebecca here, so that was kind of weird.
Sad.
But that's what I've been doing. I've been just taking it easy.
I have been getting through the busy season at work, working a lot, working early mornings, and just making it through the season. It's been a lot busier this year, so that's been really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
So today we're going to talk about religion. And
yes.
we were having a discussion the other day about the Bible and the Bible stories and, you know, the way that I kind of, and I don't know how you want to frame this up. We didn't really talk about how we're going to organize this, but I was just starting it off.
We're going to have a conversation about religion.
Yeah.
As always, we have decided to choose a topic that a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But one that most certainly needs to be discussed. We just can't keep shoving it into the shadows and hope that it will take care of itself. Yeah, and I guess the best place to start is to define what religion means to both of us. Now, for me, religion is a way to worship a person, place, or thing that you believe has a great influence on your life. But the word religion itself can be used to represent different things. Unfortunately, when we hear the word religion, we instinctively think of a higher Christ-like figure. But religion can be one's love of doing something, or like a boxer may say, this is my religion, because he or she is so emotionally connected to that activity that it has that high level of importance to them, to the point where it in some ways define who they are as individuals. That's what religion means to me. But religion is also a way to distinguish the many forms of worships that are out there. You have Christianity, you have Muslims, you have Jehovah's Witness, which keeps showing up to our door every other week. You have Jewish, you have Mormon, you have Lutheran, you have Catholic, you have Anglican, you have the Church of England. All these are forms of religion, the way where some people choose to express their love and appreciation of someone or something or a higher deity that they think can give them some sort of peace of mind. It's a way to emotionally and psychologically connect to a higher power. That's what religion means to me. That's what it sounds like to me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not going to really be able to follow that up with a better description of religion for myself, because I would agree that it's not necessarily, you know, a Bible that is somebody's religion. I've always considered myself spiritual, which some people would say that that's a religion.
Yes, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so I can't really follow that up with anything more, you know, comprehensive than you did. It's a very comprehensive meaning.
Well, one of the discussion we were having was the use of or the misuse of religion, or a form of worship, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Mormonism, how people use it as a way to justify their behavior, whether you agree or disagree with that behavior. And this discussion came about because I said what the Republicans are doing in Congress is they are taking all these evil ways or evil things that they're doing to our country and wrapping it up in the bow of religion to make it have the appearance of being something good. And so often people are guilty of hiding their duplicit behavior behind the claim of religion. That's where we end up in this conversation. And you obviously had some thoughts on that. I think you had agreed with me, but I'm not sure if you did.
Yeah, I mean, I think the politicization of I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
Politicizing the religion isn't really the best route necessarily, and isn't that the whole idea of separation of church and state?
Yeah.
Is because it mucks things up.
Yes, it
it's
does.
like adding emotion to your practical decisions, or adding, something that kind of gets in the way of practicality and economically safe decisions and, what's good for people, because not everybody is going to, agree with, one way or another.
Yeah.
And to like you said, wrap it up in that religion to make it seem like, oh, we're for the betterment of people. Well, really, you're for the betterment of people who agree with you and fall into your category of Christianity. And that Christianity has gotten pretty mucked up over the years. Christianity has really taken a turn for what are we now? Just like political parties, like what are we now? What is our group of people? Because there's a lot of Christians I know who are stepping away from what this administration calls Christianity and their version of Christianity. And I think it's kind of pissing some of them off.
Yeah.
Like, you're making us, we're Christians and we don't agree with what you're doing. And then you're making it seem like all Christians agree with what you're doing. And we don't. So I think it's also creating more division in the end, with people. So.
And what also led to this discussion was that it was either a TikTok video or a YouTube video of the young lady calling all these religious institutions to get formula to feed her newborn kid. And she called a bunch of people, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this video. And if you haven't seen it, try to find it. What was eye-opening about it is the only religious sect that helped her is the one religious sect that in the United States we demonize following September 11th. She called all these mega Christian churches, and all of them were unable to help her. It turns out to be a mosque that told her she can come down, they can have the formula ready, but all the religious bodies that sell themselves as being there to be helpful to people when they're in need were nowhere to be seen. And this was highlighted recently when the government shut down. A lot of food banks were just overrun. They were oversaturated with people who find themselves in a very embarrassing and uncomfortable position to where they can no longer put food on their table and they have to go to the food bank, which traditionally has been reserved for poorer people.
Yeah, we were on our way down to the Bay Area and looked over right off the freeway and saw lines of cars waiting at a food bank.
At a food bank.
Sitting in their car, just waiting for their box.
The question that arrived from that was, where are the mega churches?
Yeah.
Why aren't we seeing lines at the mega churches, particularly in Texas? They're all, you can't throw a rock 5 miles without hitting a church that's on like a 200-acre lot.
Yeah.
Those things are huge down in Texas.
Yeah.
But they weren't there to help people. And the problem I have with this is they are not keeping true to the Bible. They're not there to help people who are in need. They're not there to be that guiding light when people are unsure. Religion or your form of worship has become something of a business
Yep.
where I'm going to build a big church. I'm going to bring a lot of people in. I'm going to sell them hope, or I'm going to sell them fear. Then I'm going to take the mandatory 10% from them as tidings, while only basically selling them hope or a chance that something is going to happen. This approach has unfortunately resulted in a lot of people having less faith in religion
Yeah.
and religion personalities.
Or questioning at least what they thought they believed in,
Right.
or who they thought they believed in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, why is the pastor of a mega church flying around in a $10 million jet or have a house the size of the Playboy Mansion? I mean, granted, the Bible never said anything was wrong about gaining wealth. It doesn't.
But it talks about sharing your wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does
Not
talk,
taking from the people.
Exactly. It talks a lot about sharing your wealth.
You don't take from the people to create your own wealth.
Right.
That goes against everything they even
It goes against, yes.
talk about.
And I believe that's one of the biggest issues you have.
I
with the whole
do. It's
religion
so
thing.
hypocritical.
It is.
It's so hypocritical. Even, I mean, it's like, how can you do the opposite? It's like narcissists, kind of. Like, how do you do the opposite to somebody and then turn around and act like you're not doing that?
Right.
But yet you're in the background, benefiting by all this. I mean, what kind of pastor needs a G500, Like,
right. That's a plane, by the way. That is a Gulfstream.
It's just unreal to me that they can call themselves any higher than the lowest person on earth. Like, you're literally taking from your entire congregation and living off of them, and then telling them that God's going to bless them,
right?
Because you have put a hand on their back. Are you freaking kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, so and manipulative.
Right. And this is my other point is I try to live my life the way the Bible say I should do it. I don't know if I would classify myself as being religious. I like to classify myself as someone who is trying to be good,
right,
and do good. And when you read the Bible, that's basically what it's telling you.
Yeah.
It's saying, here are my 10 rules, and here is how you go about achieving these 10 rules.
Yeah.
By telling us how to achieve it, there is an acknowledgement that these rules are extremely difficult, because human beings by nature are very limited to what we can do and what we are willing to do. But instead of changing the rules, we were given a guide by which to accomplish them, knowing that we're never going to perfectly accomplish them.
Yeah.
But the idea is to keep trying to get to that ungettable, if that is a word, perfect place. The key is to genuinely keep trying to get there. I mention this because I'm of the opinion that there is a great misunderstanding about the Bible. I believe people read the Bible and they tend to take it literally.
Yes.
And it was never meant to be taken literally.
Right. It's a framework.
Exactly.
With some fluffy stories.
Right.
To make the framework feel easier and like easier to attain,
right.
Or not even easier, but just more gentle on the reader. Like, the framework is the same, but the stories are so embellished that they are unbelievable, but people believe them. People actually believe them. And sorry to take that over, but like, I feel like and this is what we were talking about the other day, is like the stories in the Bible. Like if we're in a room full of people, I used this analogy last night too. If we're in a room full of people and there's, let's say there's only 10 people and we're playing the game of telephone, by the end of the 10 people, you will not have the same story.
Right.
That's in one room in a matter of 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah.
One room, 10 people, 1 hour. And the story will be different.
Different, yeah.
How can we say that the stories from thousands of years ago are actually the same as when they actually happen? And one of the things that we've talked about a long time ago is about like that you had said something like there's a little tiny bit of truth in every single story. Even if the story is an embellished thing full of lies, there's one little ounce of truth in there. And I feel like that's what the Bible did, was it took a little piece of what happened. Let's say this great flood,
yes,
right? Maybe it was just a small village, you know, and because let's be real, how did all of these species from all over the world just happen to end up on this island, all in one place, all at one time? I think that Noah probably saved a couple of birds, saved a couple of this, saved a couple of that. But like the story is just, it's a beautiful fairy tale, you know, and it supports the lessons and the framework that you're talking about in a really nice way.
It does.
But the story itself is like people really truly believe that these things happened the way they were written. But the Bible's been written how many times? The
Bible was written, well, at least the King James Version at the Council of Nicene, when they brought all these, and I'm going to be very specific about this, men together and decided what books would appear in the Bible.
Right.
And that's how we end up with the Old Testament and the New Testament with those specific books.
Right.
But back in those days, there were almost 1,000 different religious texts or religious writings. And the Bible, at the time they did that, they did it 200 years after the crucifixion, the Christ died on the cross. That goes back to your story. 200 years, that story has been retold and retold and retold.
1 hour, 10 people, one room, like, come on.
And the second thing with that is biases. Back then, men were thought of to be the hierarchy in society.
Right.
When you look at the Bible, you will notice, with the exception of Mary, women are not spoke of in a highly respectful manner. But the men are always put up there. And one of the problems I have with the way it is written is the belief that the 12 disciples were only men. They were, and I have a problem with that. I honestly believe of the two species, women are the strongest and has a special contribution that men don't have. And to isolate that entire segment and classify them as whores and prostitutes and as nothing good and only there to serve men, to serve the guy, that just doesn't seem fair to me, because that's not Christ's teaching. Christ never thought that one person was superior to the other.
There's a lot of people in this world
who believe that.
Believe there are superior people,
but that's
the chosen ones.
Yeah.
I mean, see, that's the other thing, is it's like, why are you the chosen ones? You know, like, what makes you so special that you are chosen by this higher power? You know, it just doesn't compute for me.
Yeah, I follow the Bible as a guide to live a really fulfilled, enriched life.
Yeah, be a good person.
And it's not to be taken literally.
Yeah.
We need to focus on the stories. That's our dog. The male guy probably showed up and she's barking.
She has to have some sort of cameo every time.
To use the story as a guide to influence your life, to
Yeah.
make good, solid choices.
Yeah.
And to keep knowing that you're never going to get there, but you have the courage to persevere, to try to get to a place that you're never going to get.
So what makes you want to keep going then?
And that is what faith is to me.
I see. So
faith is knowing that you're not going to get somewhere, but you have the courage to keep getting, to keep wanting to get there, because you know it's going to make you a better person. Yeah. To me, that is faith.
Okay.
You know, that you're trying to get somewhere that you're probably never going to get, but you're not going to give up. You're just going to keep trying, because it is such a beautiful thing to keep doing that. And if you were to stop and think, well, what's the alternative to that? You're not going to like it. If you're of sound mind, anyway, if you're a person of reasonable thought, then you're like, yeah, I know that's going to give me the quick answer, and it's going to satisfy my needs really fast. But I know it's going to come back to bite me in the long run. So I might as well just take the long way around, the long, painful, unpleasant way around. And when I get there, I'll be twice as better, and I'll be more satisfied. I'll be more fulfilled if I were to take the short path around.
I think that also actually leads us to like something we were talking about the other day, which is like everything you just said was that I am going to do this, I am going to do that, I will make these decisions, and this is how it will affect me.
Right.
But I think when people read the Bible and they're not, I mean, maybe it's just that religion, I'm not really sure, but is they give the work in their minds, they are transitioning the work to Christ.
Right.
And then they are transitioning the reap of the benefit, like the reason they benefited, to Christ. So to me, I'm like, well, you're not taking any, like you're doing the work physically, mentally. No, I'm not. He is helping me do the work by giving me the strength, by giving me the perseverance, by giving me these things. And then when things work out for you, yay, they worked out. It's because I was blessed by Christ, right? When things don't work out, well, it's going to be fine because Christ will make everything okay.
Right.
And so I feel like this feels to me like this is going to sound bad, like a coping mechanism that has been developed for humans over time to not be accountable
to themselves or to ourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
And it feels like a little blanket that they put on themselves to always transfer responsibility, accountability, all of the things that come too, right? It's not because of me, it's because of Christ that these things happened.
Right.
When in all reality, from the very beginning of whatever the beginning is, we have the ability to act and react in any way and accomplish anything, but usually will not act and react to things until we're put in the situations.
Right.
And once we're put in the situation, like for instance, somebody might never show that they have a severe temper and that they could potentially be, let's say, a partner, you know, like they could be domestic violence type of person until they're put in the situation, you know, and humans aren't actually tested in those ways. And those parts of them don't come out until they're put to the test,
right,
or until they're with a specific person. You know, sometimes people bring out other things in us that we didn't even know really existed, you know? And so to me, it seems like a transfer of responsibility, accountability, and accepting the things that do come our way because we've been a good person or because we're doing the right things, you know? So it's confusing to me. It feels like the cloak that they're making it feels like that. It feels like this safety blanket that people need. And I know that sounds horrible. I'm not saying I don't believe in anything. I know there is some sort of higher power here. To me, though, it could even be literally a spaceship of aliens up there looking at us like their ant farm
Right.
Just saying, this is our science project. I mean, that's what I mean. It's like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But I always admire you for being forthright in saying I don't know, but also being very open-minded to explore
Yes.
the topic. And a few days ago, I was saying to you that the true example of one's intelligence is someone's ability to change their mind,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because in politics, if you change your mind on a particular issue, they label you a flip-flopper.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that is someone who has reevaluated their position on a topic
Mm-hmm.
following the acquisition of additional knowledge.
Sure.
But not just additional knowledge, a far superior knowledge than what they once possessed.
And understanding.
And
of
understanding.
What it is. Yeah.
And they may conclude, hey, you know what? This is what I once thought, but it turns out this isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
But when we change our minds, we are made to feel horrible.
Mm-hmm.
We're made to feel really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible is all about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, and religion, it's all about exploring different ways to understand the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying someone is right. It's not saying someone is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying this is how you go about making your life meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
You are more than welcome to do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine also.
Yeah.
When I grew up, the way they taught us about religion and Christ was through fear.
Right. You fear God.
Yes. For a long time, I was fearful of Christ.
Sin.
Yeah. If you look at a woman a certain way and just having that thought,
yeah,
you're a sinful person.
10 Hail Marys.
Yes, you're a sinful person.
Yeah.
So I grew up with this fear of who God is or who
sad.
Christ is. And it's not until I got older and I became a parent that I realized that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because I conclude that I want my kids to respect me, but I don't want them to fear us.
Yeah.
And I would believe someone who has this gigantic power would want the same thing too.
Right.
Like, why would I want someone to fear me?
As your father.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because traditionally, whenever you lead by fear, you end up losing the whole lot.
Yeah.
So that didn't make sense.
It doesn't to me either, because isn't the one you're supposed to fear in their eyes the devil?
Right.
Isn't that the devil? So are they actually saying that Christ has two sides? I mean, it's confusing.
It is confusing and it's weird because in the Bible, it's whether you read the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, or whatever other religious texts you choose to read, all of them says this one thing, and it says, "Do not be fearful."
Yeah.
So if the Bible is telling me not to be fearful, why are you telling me to be fearful of Christ?
Yeah.
Those things just never make sense.
That's actually the reason I questioned and became more open-minded to all religions and what they could offer me, because I believe that all religions, even atheism, I think has
I forget to mention that
some
atheism
points,
too,
right, that make sense, and that can be also a guide for our life. So like all religions, so like one of the things that kind of got me on that track was the way that I was introduced to religion, which was my mom and one of her very dear friends that I used to call Auntie. I remember it so specifically. I was 8 years old, and I don't know why they thought this was a good way to introduce an 8-year-old to religion. They were probably drinking wine, is my guess. But the way that they did it was they basically told me that I needed to go into my bedroom and I needed to ask God, ask Christ to be my Lord and Savior and to forgive me for my sins and, blah, 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 right? Yeah. All these things. And to an 8-year-old, it's like, so then I go in my room and I'm like sitting there and I'm like kind of thinking to myself, like, am I really supposed to say this out loud? Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, it just was so confusing to me, and it just like didn't make sense. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You know, and so then I think that one moment in my life led to, in my 20s, when I started to explore spirituality more, to like really look at the fundamentals. You know, I didn't go reading all of the different,
Right.
you know, religious texts, but the fundamentals of the religions, and to see like, wow, there's so many things like in Buddhism that I am like, this feels right to me, you know? And for me, that's what it is. It's a feeling, like this feels right to me. And so I think that being open-minded in that way, and political parties do this too, right? It's like, like we were talking last night to a couple, and we were talking about how, you know, the man said something like, I don't know where you guys fall on this political spectrum,
Right.
whatever. And you said something like, oh, well, we usually toe the line. We're right, kind of right in the middle, because there are specific points in each space.
Yes.
Socialist space, Republican, like all these different, you know, all these different spaces that make sense and that speak to us. And so how can you just choose one when you choose that one, you have to sacrifice so many of your other values or ideas or morals or whatever to just choose that one, you know? And I think that goes back to, we said this in another episode, where people put themselves in a box. And religion, to me, it's a box. And I'm okay with not being in the box.
That's why it's often considered a way to control people.
Yes.
And that's because that's what the Catholics did in 612 and the 1500s.
Yeah.
Catholics, well, the Roman Catholic Church was intentionally, and this is where the Lutheran faith came from, because Lutheran didn't like the corruption he saw in the Catholic Church. So he broke off and decided to start his own thing, encompassing some of the Catholic doctrine and ideology and practices. But because he didn't like the corruption of the Catholic Church, he decided he needed to leave. But there is one thing specific he didn't like about it. And that was the Catholic Church restricted the reading of the Bible. And he decided he was going to publish it in like Latin or Greek, making it available to everybody to read. While the Catholic Church didn't want everyone to have access to the Bible. They saw themselves, or to the religious word, they saw themselves as the higher authority, the representation between the ordinary people and God, and they're the only one who possessed the ability to read and the knowledge of the Bible. This guarding of information and knowledge continues today. Because though all of us can read, the way the religious bodies guard it is by convincing us that we are misinterpreting the information. We don't understand it. I am the religious authority. I have to tell you how to understand
Talking
it.
points.
Right. And what is weird is they themselves don't understand it.
Right.
They themselves are teaching as they like to say, their flock the incorrect information. And it goes back to what you were saying. It is a personal journey. What will work for the guy that's Jewish is not going to be it's not going to be the same thing that will work for someone that's just spiritual. What I've discovered through my personal journey is, as hard as the so-called religious authorities try to differentiate between the different religion or the different forms of worship, they have more in common than they don't. They will say something differently, but at the most fundamental level, what they're saying is the exact same thing. For example, I mentioned about fear, how all the books said that you shouldn't be fearful.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one half of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other half is because no religious text ever just tell you something, it tells you the whole thing and it tells you how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
The other half is to always seek knowledge. And you go, well, why would you say to always seek knowledge? Yes, that seemed like a common sense thing, but why intentionally say that? And the reason for saying it is the only way to overcome fear is to be knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
If you, the reason in most cases we are afraid of something is because we don't know what that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And these religious texts are saying, be someone who pursues knowledge. And when you do that, you will not be fearful.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard a priest of any kind or of any type combine these two in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And all they keep doing is preaching fear, fear, fear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, that's great, but how do you overcome fear? And they always give this stupid answer: just have faith.
Yeah, have
Just
faith.
go out there and do it. Like, no.
But that's the root of a cult leader.
Yeah.
Fear is the root. And so just like in politics, many of the MAGA people are literally only in the frame of mind they're in because of fear.
Right.
Because their liberties are being stripped from them because someone else is taking them, or their jobs are being stripped from them because someone else is taking them. Well, they don't want to go out in the fields, really. But the fear that they are losing control, and they're losing control to immigrants, is like that fear. And so that group of people, that administration, will continue to push those ideas because fear outweighs in our gut, in our mind, in our heart, outweighs the feeling of it, the value of it outweighs love and all these other things that are on the opposite side of that spectrum, which is what typically religion should teach. That's probably why it's gone awry so much, is because fear has become the main thing instead of being the thing that we can say, oh, all of the reason we're reading, like, it's like, okay, if we go read this book right here, you read it and I read it, it's all about perspective. We are going to gain totally different things, maybe not all different, but some different things from each reading. You're going to gain some things from the way you read it, and I'm going to gain from how I read it. When you watch a movie, you can watch a movie and then you could watch it again and you're going to see things that you didn't see before. You're like, oh, I didn't catch that on the first time I watched it. Or you catch something that I didn't catch. Perspective is everything. Perspective is reality. And I think that when we're analyzing like our spiritual path, everybody, like you're saying, everybody's going to have a different way to make that work for them. If somebody literally is so deep in their faith that they truly believe that their God is providing everything for them and doing all the work for them, more power to them. Yes. If that is working for them and that is what gets them through their life and makes them happy and brings them joy, wonderful. But the fear, unfortunately, I think is starting to even take over even more. It's becoming like that's what you have to fear something to get to the next step in your life, or to move forward. I don't really understand that.
It's beneficial for not just politics, but for religious authorities to do it, because people who are fearful are easily manipulated.
Yes.
You could get them to do things on the belief that if they do these things that you say, which more often than not benefits the political or the religious figure, then their fear will go away.
Yeah. If
they were to use the readily available, the abundance of knowledge out there on YouTube, for example, they will realize that they're being sold a basket of rotten goods.
Yeah.
And all these people are relying on is that they don't ever have the wisdom or the courage to seek the knowledge for themselves and only keep listening to them and believe in them that they are doing the right thing. And fear, like you said, it's absolutely right. Fear is one of the most emotionally scarring thing there is out there. That's why the Bible is very specific about it. Do not fear. Do not fear. But in order to not fear, you need to understand what you need to understand things.
What is that scorpion going to do to me if it crawls up my leg?
Or look it up.
Exactly.
Just get
it's
that
knowing
knowledge.
What is on the other side, or at least trying to understand what's on the other side of that fear.
Yes.
Yeah. And fear rules everything in people's lives these days. I mean, I notice it with kids, and the younger generations now, I don't know, really young generations, some of them have no fear. Some of them just go balls to the wall. But, I feel like fear can be debilitating for people.
And it's weird because fear can be both a blessing and a curse.
Right.
It can be a curse in one's inability to recognize it as something that's telling you to be cautious
or standing in your way
right.
of making a decision. And,
right. But like I said, in every case where you feel fear coming on, so you know what, I'm fearful of doing this. Let me figure out how this actually works.
Yeah.
Get the knowledge.
Yeah.
Go out there and get the knowledge, because all religious text says in the pursuit of knowledge. It's even I think in the Constitution of the US, or in one of the national songs where it says something to the effect of the individual pursuit of life, liberty, and I think there is knowledge in there, but I'm not sure. But it's there. Just seek the knowledge out. And finally, what I will say, where you mentioned early on being the chosen people or being the chosen one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to probably get ripped up for saying this, but I do not believe the Israelis were ever the chosen people.
Me neither.
Because as a leader yourself and someone who has led people, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, it makes no sense.
Right.
Because why would I undermine my whole reason for coming by publicly anointing a particular group of people as being my favorite group? Like, you guys are my favorite group and everyone else is come second. Because what I've actually done is put a target on that group's back, and I've alienated everyone else.
Yeah.
Making my task twice as difficult.
Right.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
No, even as a dad, right? Like, you don't have a favorite child regardless of anything. If you had established your favorite child at the very beginning, number one, it's extremely manipulative, which this higher being is not supposed to be that type of being, right? Manipulative. And also it goes against everything that you're trying to accomplish with all of your kids, not just one of them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't. And like I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're being anti-Semitic and you're being, but I am not. This is the way I see it. This is the way it makes sense to me. This is the way, as a parent, I went about parenting, because it just doesn't make sense to me. It just, like, you are an employer, you are a boss, and you and I discuss this. You have one permanent employee and 3 or 4 people that come in and help. If you were to loudly stood in the middle of the room one day and says, this particular person is my favorite person, well, you might as well close your business, because your business is over. And I don't know why, as a planet, we have accepted this. And this brings me back to who wrote the Bible in the first place. Because every religious text, in some way or form, is a descendant or draws on the Torah, which is the Jewish first religious book. And it was written in there, and so we just kept repeating it over and over and over without questioning whether or not this makes sense, without comparing it to the objective of Christ or God or Yahweh or Allah, and how this one particular claim would affect, well, I say her objectives.
Yeah.
And I just wish people would stop labeling those of us who seek true knowledge and understanding of the religious texts as anti-Semite or
non-believers
or
and
non-believers. You know, these ugly terms that society has deemed to be unnecessary is often used to shut down real discussion.
right.
And because of this, we end up in this religious black hole where no one is really sure what is happening. We don't have a general consensus. What we have are small religious pockets of individuals who are preying on those who don't seek knowledge, taking their money, taking their political views, taking their ideology, and leaving them bare or leaving them dependent on that one organization or that one ideology.
Which also goes against
It goes against every religious text.
exactly. So it's just so backwards. It's like you're doing the opposite things of what the text is telling you.
But claiming that's exactly what the text is saying.
It's just so
Again,
strange.
this is another way of doing what the Catholics did in the 600s and the 700s, withholding knowledge.
Yeah.
But instead of withholding the book itself, you're saying, okay, you can read the book, but you can't understand it.
Yeah.
You need me to
It's
interpret
too complex for you.
And anytime you give someone control over your ability to think or your ability to do anything, they will always work against you.
Yeah.
Even when they appear to be working in your best interest, they are some way working to screw you over.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of human beings.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. And I think that has taken over religion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's extremely sad. And it's extremely disappointing because I am very into living a good life and a productive life and a fruitful life, being kind and everything. And so are you. And it's disappointing to see people corrupted to serve their own means.
Well, and again, it's backwards because the texts are, and I'm going to say this the wrong way, but it talks about community, right? We all work together to create this thing that we're creating, you know, and that's why even, okay, in China, for instance, you're talking about, you know, like a communist country, and some people would be like, I could never live like that. But when I look at China, I see how far they've come in their development, and I see that the people, their sacrifice is like, okay, we'll just let the government run all this stuff. That's fine. But we're going to do our part to help our community to succeed, to be higher up, to live better, to this, to that. And so again, it's another kind of political space that I could say, you know what? I really like that idea. I really like that these people are working together. And in religion, I always thought that's what it was supposed to be about, is community.
You're right. That's what
and
it's
they
supposed
still
to be about.
say that. If you go to church, it talks about community and blah, 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 except for you have to give more than yourself and your heart and what you have to give. Then where does that go?
Yeah.
Who does it help? Because if it's not helping the mom who's calling for formula, who is it helping?
It's helping the guy flying his $10 million jet.
G5, yeah, exactly.
And building the church bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's pretty crappy.
Building a $10,000 a 10,000 square feet home.
Yeah, with like 2 lap pools and infinity pool and a sauna and gym.
It's not an accident that most of these mega churches are in red states.
Yeah.
That is not accidental.
I agree.
But that's another discussion for another day. Anyway, this was our take on religion.
I feel like this is just a small part. I think we're going to have to get deeper on this.
We definitely going to have to get deeper in this. We're definitely going to get deeper in religion and how it affects our lives, how it invades every aspect of who we are, what we are, and where we want to go. And it's a very extensive topic. There's so many avenues to go with it. You can talk about this for hours upon hours upon hours. But this is our summarized take of how we feel about religion. And where we think it should go.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't, identify with a specific religion, like that's totally okay. If you do identify with a specific religion, totally okay. But if you don't, or if you do and you're curious or you're just wanting more information to get yourself away from fear, like do some research, like go online and even use ChatGPT if you have to help you to identify some of the key parts of all religions, to learn more about what is their intention, and we're all about learning and gaining that knowledge and ending up on the other side of fear as often as possible. So it's great discussion.
The quicker you can free yourself from the bondage of ignorance, the less fearful you will be.
I like that one.
Okay?
Replay!
The quicker you can free yourself from the bondage of ignorance, the freer you will be.
Yeah, I love
and the less fear you will ever experience.
Yeah, that's really nice, babe.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is another episode of Human Frequency, and we are so happy that you joined us. Please like and subscribe and do all the fun stuff, the bell and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we will see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. And I know we load these stuff up like maybe once every 3 weeks. And
yeah, we're trying.
One of the reasons we do it is, one, we are both working. And I can't speak for Rebecca, but for me, I want to put out something with substance, something that people can learn from 30 years from now, as opposed to just putting out something to get the algorithm to see that we put in something out and to get subscribers and to get views. Because our objective here is, when we're no longer here, this is also a record to our kids of how we think, or by that time, how we thought about various issues.
Yeah.
So this is also a diary of our life for them.
Who are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And hopefully inspire them to say, you know what, these two people weren't as dicks as I thought. So
Yeah.
But thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. Do the whole like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We only have 6 subscribers so far, but the long way around always gets you to a better place.
For sure. It's all about intention.
Yep. See you guys in the next one.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out.